Alrighty, what up, what up, what up? What's up, everyone? Can you guys hear me and see my screen? Good morning, everyone. I guess I'm currently traveling, so it's not morning for me, but for everyone else, good morning. What's up, what's up? Hopefully my mic is working fine. I kind of have it plugged in a little bit farther away, but you guys should be able to hear me. The bit rate is decent. You guys should probably get like at least 720p, hopefully. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Can I just get a check? Good to go. Awesome. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Rick, Ryan, Robert, Cinna, Deuce, Under. Good morning, Robert, Wakey, Future, Cosmic, Farzin, Timo. What's up, Purple, Wayne? Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Yes, currently back in just Dubai. I had to do a couple of things here. So I'm not sure how long we're going to be staying for, but at least the weather's nicer this time, that's for sure. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Happy birthday. Appreciate that. Yes, it actually is my birthday as well. Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, what's up, everyone? At least for this week, I didn't have a weekly outlook yesterday, but at least for today, we're going to go over kind of a couple of the charts, what we're looking for coming to this week. There's honestly not too much just because really lower volume week, plus we have the holidays as well, which is going to be on Thursday, tomorrow half day, Friday, of course, lower volume. So not expecting too much, but of course, we'll go over some tickers. We'll start on the major indices, then we'll go on to the tech names. I see a lot of happy birthday wishes. Yeah, appreciate that, guys. Appreciate that. Alrighty, let's get started here. For all the people that are here, there's actually not too many. We kind of been talking about this for a while, that if there is any time to take off on trading, honestly, this week and then next week are the the weeks to do it, just because it is the holiday season. And normally speaking, there's not too much opportunity. Yesterday, volatility just not really there. We had a couple nice moves. I personally didn't look at the charts just because I was traveling, but we'll take a look at that here now. Okay, let me grab some water here before I get started, and we'll head on to the charts. Awesome. Okay, let's start off on the major indices. So let's go on to the ES, and then we'll head on to the NQ, and then we'll head on to the rest of the names here as well. So really for the overall markets, let's actually start off on the daily time frame. So we'll start off on the daily time frame here on the ES. We'll then head on to the NQ, but overall, we actually end up having a super solid bounce. Coming into last week, sorry for the drawing tools if they're a little bit messy as well, since I am on the travel setup and they're a little bit different, but overall markets, we end up having a super solid bounce. Last week, Thursday, Friday, nice kind of rally towards the upside. And we end up having this pretty solid bounce here in the overall markets. Really for the SPY, we are most likely going to gravitate back up and towards our all-time highs. Let's just quickly go on to the SPY chart. You can see higher lows nicely kind of got bought up. And now we do expect, right, the markets to kind of gravitate back up and towards our all-time highs key level, which is at 688. But this is what we have for the daily time frame. So we end up having a nice push towards the upside. Now let's go into the lower time frames and see what kind of levels we have coming into today's in specific. So let's go on to the ES. As you can see right here, the key levels that we're going to have marked out is just going to be number one, our previous day highs, which is our Monday's highs and our Monday's lows. So as you can see right here, overall markets ended up pushing up yesterday, and now we're just kind of consolidating in between its previous day's range. Plus, one thing to mention as well is that we do not have any red folder news. We have a little bit, we actually do have a little bit of red folder news at 8:30 today, but besides that, there's no major red folder news events just because it is a holiday week as well. And then we have a little bit more red folder news next week. So coming into today, as I mentioned, we'll keep an eye out on your previous day highs along with your previous day lows. So these are the key levels I have for the ES in specific. If I do want to see a potential push towards the upside, it's going to have to be above your previous day highs and a hold above your previous day highs for continuation. That's really going to be the only long scenario I'm somewhat interested. You could be looking for kind of these higher lows and a potential push up in towards your previous day highs, but I'm going to be a little bit more cautious coming into today. I'm definitely going to be waiting for the 5-minute to play out at a minimum. And then, of course, most likely the 15-minute opening candle to play out as well, just because I'm expecting a little bit lower volatility. So if nothing shapes up, I do want to be a little bit more patient. So this is what I have at least for the ES towards the upside right off the bat. If we want to look for downside, which really I'm not as interested. So overall markets, we had a super solid bounce towards the upside on Thursday, Friday of last week. Monday, gap up, nice push towards the upside on lower volume. So whenever you see downside moves, you want to see downside moves on higher volume. And then when you're looking at the upside, right, upside, when the markets move higher on lower volume, that actually is fairly bullish, because once the volume does pick up, usually that's a sign for a bigger push higher. So you just have to be a little bit more cautious. We don't have too much volume in the market. So definitely I am leaning a little bit more neutral, but towards the upside. So at least for today, this is what I have for the ES. Only way I like downside, to be honest, is underneath your previous day lows. If you can get underneath that previous day lows, there is a possibility we could see a gap fill towards the downside, but it is going to have to show a lot more relative weakness, and it's going to have to push underneath. Really now it's going to be this 6912 key level here for the ES. So this is what we have coming into today. Let's go on to the SPY chart. So coming into today here for the SPY, you can see the levels are a little bit cleaner. Key levels that we have marked out, Monday's highs along with our Monday's lows. If you do want to see upside, as I mentioned, above your previous day high, 685 for a potential push towards upside. Another possible scenario here now, consolidation, and then you're going to be looking for the reclaim later into the session for this push higher. So really two scenarios here for the SPY coming into today. As I mentioned, the only way I'm interested in downside is going to be underneath your previous day low. So until we're able to show weakness, which is underneath that previous day lows, I am not going to be short bias. I'm going to be more neutral, and I'm going to actually have a bullish bias now based off the higher time frames and just based off where we're currently at on the charts. So SPY is closer to your previous day highs, and it's closer to our all-time highs key level. All right, let's go on to the next chart that we have, which is going to be the NQ. Let me actually just grab some water here as well. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. See a lot of happy birthday wishes. Appreciate that. Which one will you focus on? Yeah, I'm going to go over kind of the game plan today. Really, as I mentioned, kind of the past week, there hasn't been too many top watches that I've been really interested in, just because overall market lower volume, not too many higher time frame setups. So we've really been taking it kind of day by day. Plus, really just has to do with a lot of intraday relative strength and weakness. So coming into today here for the NQ, you can see the NQ is a little bit weaker than the SPY. If you're comparing these two charts, you can see the ES closer to your previous day highs, whereas the NQ really kind of lagging behind here compared to the overall markets. That's in specific because a lot of these other names are kind of dragging it down, like Apple. So really coming into today here for the NQ, key level I'm going to have marked out here is going to be that previous day lows. If we do want to see any sort of potential move towards the upside, it's going to be that bounce off your previous day lows. Another possible scenario here as well, if we do show a little bit more weakness, we could be looking for the bounce off of your your last week's highs for this continued push towards the upside off of your 25,580 for a push towards the upside. As for some NQ downside, the only possible scenario is going to be the immediate kind of retest off of your previous day lows for this push towards the downside. But I don't like it too much just because there's not that much room lower, which is only towards this gap fill and kind of your Friday's high. So for the overall markets, as I mentioned, I'd just much rather look for major dips to go long, kind of coming into the end of year. There are a couple day trades that you can be looking at for some downside, but you just want to be a little bit more cautious here. Now let's go on to the QQQ chart. Let's see if this will load. So for the QQQ coming into today, the key levels that we have marked out, previous day lows along with your previous day highs. So as you can see for the Qs, we are just going to open up primarily in between the middle of the range. There's not too much room towards the downside, as I mentioned, right? We have a little bit more room down in towards really that previous day close that we had on Friday. But I'd much rather look for kind of the buyers to, step in off of your 618 for a potential reversal higher. So if you be a little bit more aggressive on the short, which I'd be very cautious of, you don't really want to chase shorts towards the downside either because we're bullish. I just rather, as I mentioned, look for long positions potentially off of our last week's highs for a push towards the upside, or now it's going to be really now above your previous day highs for a continuation as well, specifically on the SPY chart. So that's what we have for the major indices, at least coming into today for the ES SPY. As I mentioned, key levels that we're going to keep an eye out on is going to be SPY previous day highs. And now we're going to keep an eye out on the QQQ. It's going to be that previous day lows, 617.50s. Some other semiconductors we can, some other major indices that we can keep an eye out on. SMH, you can see recently hit our all-time highs. First step getting bought up. This one looks good for a push back towards the upside. IWM showing nice strength here as well once we ended up reclaiming back above the key level, which was at 251.50. Nice kind of push towards the upside here. Now let's go on to some tech names that we have coming into today. So if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. Let me grab some water here. Oops. Yeah, what's up everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. Hope you guys are also enjoying the holidays. As I mentioned, we do have a market holiday on Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be a half day, so be cautious of that if you are going to trade. The markets are closed, if I'm not mistaken, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it is going to be a shorter day. And then, of course, Thursday we have Christmas for everyone who's celebrating that. And then on Friday, we're going to come back. It's most likely going to be a lower volume day as well. So let's go on to some tech names here. We'll go on to the Mag 7, and then we'll go on to some other names. So first things first, let's talk about Tesla. So Tesla, as you can see, really solid push yesterday. So Tesla, we ended up gapping up yesterday. Nice push up and towards our all-time highs, and you can see a couple rejections here. Not quite hit, your 500 key psych level. And we weren't able to close really above our higher time frame key level, which was that 494. So for Tesla, really higher time frames have been fairly bullish. Intraday price action has been a little bit more difficult to navigate, but you can see overall, at least for Tesla, every single dip, right, getting bought up and higher lows have been made. So really now for Tesla, the key level here is going to be that 494. If we can break above it, at least on the daily time frame, we can see some more continuation higher, as long as you can maintain market structure, which is just going to be your previous day's key pivot level. So that's what we have for Tesla coming into today, at least on the lower time frames. Key levels that I do have marked out is going to be your Friday's highs along with your all-time highs. The only way I like longs on Tesla is either the bounce off your previous day lows, or now it's going to be above your all-time highs for continuation. So two scenarios here on Tesla for continuation higher. If you want to look for a potential mean reversion, now it's going to be underneath your Friday's highs, which is your 489, for a potential pushback towards the downside. So that's what we have for Tesla coming into today. These are the key levels. The key level, as I mentioned, 489 here on Tesla. Let's go on to some of the semiconductors that we have. So NVIDIA, super solid bounce. So let's go back onto NVIDIA. Really higher time frames, kind of just coming into this key level of demand, which was that 168. Nice buyers kind of stepping in. Next key level is really just going to be this 183. So for NVIDIA, at least moving forward, at least on the higher time frame, so you kind of have this huge head and shoulders potentially forming, which will be the rejection off that 183. But if we can reclaim back above that 183, this can be a good potential reclaim for a push higher. So this is what I'll be looking for personally, is going to be that break above that 183, at least on the daily chart. But let's go into the lower time frames, at least shorter term. Let's look at what we're looking for coming into today. Let's keep an eye out on your previous day lows along with your previous day highs here on this ticker. Potential break below your previous day lows. You can see some continuation back down in towards your last week's highs, which is your 181. If you want to be looking for some other potential opportunities here on NVIDIA, the bounce off your previous day lows is in play for a push back towards the upside, or now it's going to be above your previous day highs for a push higher. So these are the two names that we have coming into today here on NVIDIA. Let's keep an eye out on this 182.50 for a push back towards upside or a potential gap fill. Let's go on to AMD. So AMD, another one of these tickers that kind of bounced with the overall markets right off a key level of demand, which was that 200 key psych. Technically, we are still bearish in the shorter term, but moving forward here for AMD, it's going to be that break above your 230 for a potential kind of mean reversion on the higher time frame. So what I'd like to see is kind of this W-shaped recovery if we can see a pushback towards the upside, but key level is going to be that 220 moving forward. Currently, a little bit of rejections off that level. So let's go into the 15-minute time frame. So coming into today here for AMD, let's keep an eye out on this 215. You can see some buyers kind of stepping in here yesterday. Really, this is your exact level you like to see price hold for a potential mean reversion back higher. So this is going to be the key level for AMD coming into this morning. If we break underneath, we can see a push really back towards your 210. So not too much support here on AMD, but 214 is going to be key. So that's what we have for AMD today. Let's keep an eye out on that previous day lows, at least for Apple. Apple really consolidating here on the higher time frames, not too much I see. So if we zoom out here, if we go into the hourly, if you go into the daily chart, now this one's just slowing down. You definitely don't want to be trading Apple when it slows down like this, at least day trading wise. But you can see overall higher time frames still fairly much bullish, right? Higher lows are being built. But at least intraday time frame, this one has been definitely a little bit of a trickier name to trade. So not too much to go over it, at least for the day trades. Just keep an eye out now on your previous day lows, your 270. Let's go into a few other tickers here now. Let's go on to Google. So Google, kind of nice solid bounce here in the overall markets. Key levels that I have for Google coming into today. I'm going to mark out that previous day highs. I'm also going to mark out this key pivot level from yesterday here as well. So if we do want to see upside on Google, it's going to be above your previous day highs for continuation. Potential pop and fade is in play for a push lower as well. So let's keep an eye out on your 312 here on Google, which is that previous day highs. Let's go into Meta. As for Meta, nice push towards the upside, but ultimately kind of rejected off our key pivot points yesterday. So for Meta, higher time frames look fairly solid, but overall, right, a lot of the names kind of just reversed off at key levels, but pop above kind of this 670 ultimately was not able to close above, and then we kind of had this push right back towards the downside. So for Meta now, key levels, you're just going to draw your 660 along with its 670, and those are going to be key. As for some other tickers that we're going to have marked out, let's go on to Amazon. Amazon, the key levels that we're going to have marked out here is going to be that 229. So this is a name that I actually like here coming into today. We have multiple touches on Amazon. If you can break above your 229, we can see some more continuation towards the upside. So let's keep an eye on this for a potential push up in towards our 230 here on this ticker. As for some other tickers that we'll have, there's not too much else to go over. Microsoft kind of just consolidating here as well, along with Netflix. So really today, we do have some red folder news coming in about 7 minutes here. So we'll just keep an eye out for that. At least now, if you guys do have any tickers you'd like me to go over, I do see some of you guys typing in the chat. I'll go over those now. And then, yeah, I'll go over probably some names for the next kind of like 5 to 10 minutes. And then I'll most likely get it ready for market open. But at least for my top watches coming into today, I'm going to be a lot more cautious, as I mentioned, just because tomorrow, half day, Thursday we have Christmas, and then Friday, of course, is the day after a holiday, which is most likely going to be lower volume here as well. So at least coming to market open, I'm not expecting much, but sometimes there can be opportunity when you're not expecting anything. So we'll just keep an eye out on the reaction that we have off key levels, which is primarily Q's previous day lows. And of course, SPY, it's going to be that previous day highs, 685, at least for some of the main tech names. Tesla, I'm not that interested. It hit your all-time highs yesterday, so I'll be very surprised if it made a new all-time highs after having that rejection yesterday, right before the holiday, but we'll still keep an eye out for Tesla for a potential bounce play or above your now previous all-time highs. And of course, NVIDIA, right, previous day lows, let's keep an eye out on this one. Even a potential kind of trade towards the downside is in play here off your previous day lows. And then similar thing here to AMD, which is off that 213.90s. Okay, let me grab some water here, and then I will go on to some tickers that you guys typed in the chat. How are you guys doing so far? Are you guys celebrating Christmas? Are you guys enjoying the holidays so far? Okay, let's go on to some tickers here now. Let's see, Palantir. Yeah, Palantir actually had a nice push. So we kind of talked about Palantir on Friday, and then we actually had some news. So we had some news on Friday, and then yesterday, nice gap and go above your previous day high. So Palantir, if you're able to capture this one, that would have been super solid towards the upside yesterday. Now the key levels we're going to have marked out here is just that 192. So let's just keep an eye out on this. I don't really see too much here on Palantir now. The move was on Friday for a potential break above that 190, and then yesterday it was above your previous day highs. But now for the overall markets, what I'm going to have marked out is going to be this 192 along with this 194. I like longs above your 194. Of course, you can be looking for the kind of bounce play, which I would be a lot more cautious on Palantir above your 193. And then really potentially your previous day low short is in play here as well underneath that 192.50. So that's what we have for Palantir. I like longs above your 194 here on Palantir. As for Hood, let's go on to the higher time frames on this ticker. Let's go on to the hourly chart. So for Hood, key level is going to be this 123. I have quite a few levels here on this one, but you can see the clear break is going to be above your 124 for continuation. You can see multiple touches. So it's going to have to break above this if you want to see any sort of push higher. Light, Amazon went over that one. Tesla, MU. Let's go over a few of these semiconductors here as well. So MUs continue to show strength. This one recently had earnings not too long ago, and we ended up having a nice gap up. And of course, now you can see a lot more continuation here. So for MU, this is really one of the leading tickers that have been pushing the markets back towards the upside. Key levels is going to be that previous day kind of high that we created on Friday. You can see really solid bounce yesterday right off that 270. And then today, similar thing. You can just mark out that previous day highs, which is going to be that 278. So let's do that. Drag it over. So coming into today here for MU, there's really two scenarios, either that consolidation break towards the upside, or now it's going to be above your previous day highs for a push higher. Even potentially, you can see that bounce off of your previous day lows, 268 also in play here. Went over most of those. Let's see. Happy birthday. My birthday was yesterday. Nice. Happy birthday to both of us. Silver. Thanks for the advice. New here. What do you trade? Futures with prop firms? No, I trade on personal capital. Best gift of 2025. I would go through silver, Dow. Yeah, I'll go through silver, a couple of these ones. A lot of these, like silver, gold, I'm pretty sure gold is now back at all-time highs as well, at least last time I checked. Most likely probably just rally back towards our all-time highs. Let's see this. Yeah, super nice break above your all-time highs here on gold. The key levels that we have marked out, I guess they're not showing up. Let's see. Gold, all-time highs. Yeah, so nice break. We kind of been talking about gold, the break back above, and then really solid rally. So if you're in gold or any commodities, these ones have been super solid, along with silver pushing nicely back towards the upside. Let's see what else. I guess a couple of you guys mentioned that. Let's actually go over this. We'll just go over the ETF here on silver. But yeah, silver and these rest of the commodities have been pushing up nicely towards the upside. Really higher time frame break, and I can see really solid extension higher. If you're looking at the key levels, you're just going to really now just mark out your previous day high. So this one gapped up over the weekend. Now you're just going to mark out every single old low. And you can mark out your previous day highs, key levels here as well. This one, nice pop in the pre-market. So you're now just going to base it off of higher time frame key levels. Sorry, you're going to base it off of key psych levels. Sorry, Fibonacci's and other things as well. Okay, it is about to hit 8:30, so we do have some red folder news here in about 20 seconds. So I'll wait for the red folder news event to hit. We'll see if there's any sort of reaction here on the overall markets, and then I will get ready for the market open. So we'll see what happens here in about 10 seconds, and then I will get ready for market open here now. Let's see the chat. Crazy volatile, many fake outs. Wouldn't be ideal to remain trading preserve capital. Yeah, like a lot of these ones, there's not too much continuation and not a lot of momentum currently, just because, as I mentioned, we do have the holiday season coming up. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are trading during these times. I'm definitely on lower sides. We'll be a lot more selective here as well. We just had some red folder news here in the markets. So okay, so we'll see what kind of shapes up. Let me check out this red folder news events here as well. Let me pull this up. So hopefully you guys can see this, but we just had some red folder news here in the markets, which was just prelim GDP. My time zone, as you can see, very messed up here. But as you can see, we just had prelim GDP. Came in, forecasted was 3.3. Actual was 4.3%. So numbers came in quite nicely. As for the overall markets and the reaction, you can see not really a reaction here on the major indices, kind of coming into the holidays here as well. So as I mentioned today, just be a lot more cautious, at least be cautious this whole week. Plus next week as well, just because it is the holiday season. As for the overall markets and the game plan coming into today, just keep an eye out on your previous day highs along with your previous day lows. I personally don't really want to be trading in between your previous day highs and previous day lows. We most likely will have some sort of inside bar day today on the major indices. For the QQQ, I'm really only interested in kind of this potential kind of bounce play off your previous day lows. So that's what I'm looking for, at least on the Qs coming to market open. Besides that, yeah, for Tesla, let's keep an eye out on your 490. As I mentioned, we'll just wait for the price action that we have off key levels coming to market open. NVIDIA, let's keep an eye out on your previous day lows here as well, 182.60s. As for AMD, let's keep an eye out on your 213.50s. And besides that, yeah, let's see. Let's see if this will load. I'm going to go through a couple more tickers. Amazon actually looks good here above your previous day high. So let's keep an eye out on Amazon above your 229. But yeah, besides that, as I mentioned, I don't see too much else in the overall markets. We're going to be a lot more cautious today here with the market holiday. And that's about it. Yeah, just be cautious out there here with the holiday season coming up. If there's no trades today, just be very cautious tomorrow as well, with it being a half day. And of course, we do have the holidays on Thursday as well. So that is going to be it for me today. A little bit of a shorter pre-market prep since there's not too much to talk about. Kind of this month's theme has been, this kind of been the theme this whole month, is not too much here, but I'm still here. We'll see if there's any sort of setups here on the overall markets. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to get ready for market open here now. If I don't see you guys, I will hope you guys have a great rest of the holidays. And of course, I do expect the markets to start kind of picking up back once New Year hits. And yeah, that's about it for me today. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoy your holidays. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.